Hi, I'm Linda Lindsay, and I have been knitting since I was 7. My mom and my grandmother were both weavers, so I've been pretty much involved in that my whole life, and I've been spinning for close to 20 years now. And I've just now come across a little technique that will help a lot when you have fibers that just don't want to hold together when you spin. You've got a ball of fiber wool that you've taken out of your stash, and you go to put it on your wheel and it just slides right on down, and you can't get it to hold together. It'll fall apart. It's slippery. It won't stick together. This is some commercial Shetland. It's probably about 25, 27 micron, and this is exactly how it came off of the ball. And it is slippery, and it doesn't want to hold. So I got to thinking about a few things. When we're done spinning a skein, the conventional wisdom is to wash it. Some people like to weight it. Some people like to take it out on the porch and whack the heck out of it. I don't do that. I'm blasphemous. I'm not one of those people that feels a need to torture your fiber when you're done with it. However, when you're spinning something and it just does not want to behave itself, it wants to slide apart, there is a little thing that you can do. What I do is I steam it. This is exactly the same amount of fiber. They're both 2 ounces. They're both Shetland. They came off of the same ball. And this is what it looks like after it's been steamed. What a difference. You can see how much it's fluffed. But the most important thing is it's got its crimp back. When you run a fiber through a commercial mill, running it through a combing machine, what it does is it stretches it. It pulls that crimp right out. And when it does that, it just wants to slide apart. It does not want to hold together so you can spin it. So I got to thinking, well, why don't we try to put the crimp back in before we spin it? I took my little handy-dandy tea kettle and I ran this through the tea kettle steam, and oh boy, what a difference. This is just to show you how it works. I'm going to take a little skewer here, just something to keep my hands out of the steam because it does get pretty hot. Now, can you see it? The steam going through it, see it moving? Can you see it fluffing there? This is what I mean when I say that when you steam it, the steam relaxes the fiber, it puts the crimp back. The washing, the combing, all of that takes the crimp out. So when you have unroll a bit of comb top directly off of the ball, it's compressed, it's flattened, and it's got the crimp pretty much pulled out of it. Now, can you see the difference in the steamed end versus the unsteamed end? Now, as I said, this was about 24, 25 micron Shetland. But will it work for other weights of fibers? Actually, it will. This here is about probably 29, 30. And you can see that this end I've steamed and this end I haven't. And there's a big difference. There's not so much as it is with the finer weight, but there is a difference. Now for really fine, this is 19 micron merino. The finer the fiber and the more it's been compressed during the processing, the more it's going to fluff when you steam it. Because as I said, what you're doing here is you're putting the crimp back in. And that makes it real easy to make it grabby, to make it pull together, to make it hold. You know, this slides right out, but this pulls and it allows you to spin it a whole lot easier. Now, will it work on other things? This is some superwash. As you can see, it's still in the braid. I got this from a friend of mine. Now, she dyed it and then put it in the braid. Does it work on superwash? Yeah, kinda. I think it probably would a lot better than this, except that when she dyed it, she also wet it. And when you wet it, you're putting the crimp back in. It got compressed while it was being dyed, but that kind of compression the fluff doesn't really help with. The steam doesn't. Because all the steam does is put the crimp back in to make it grippier. With this, it's a lot easier just to go ahead and pull it apart, pre-draft, whatever. You can see it's still a little bit tight in there. This is some fiber. I'm not sure what it is. It's probably about 25 micron. That was dyed, then processed. It was run through the carding machines after dyeing. And it does help a little bit to steam it. It's not a lot, but you can see a little bit of a difference. As far as it being grippy, well, yeah, it's grippier. Will it work on other fibers besides wool? Not really, because what you're doing is you're trying to replace the crimp that the carding process has pulled out. This is some alpaca. This is also alpaca. This bit wasn't steamed. This bit was. It fluffed it a little bit, but I don't know that it's going to make much of a difference. Alpaca is alpaca. It still doesn't have the crimp. It's still going to be slippery. This here was alpaca that had gotten wet and compacted. This was steamed, but it was also fluffed. I mean, I'm doing the same thing on this end. I'm getting pretty much the same result. So will it work on this kind of alpaca, something that's been washed already? Not so much. Okay, now for the acid test. Let's see if this really works. This is the end that I did not steam. And it's pulling through, but it's sliding. I'm having a little bit of a trouble keeping it together as I'm spinning. I have to grip it tighter. It's okay, but boy, it's going to take a long time to do this. So let's go ahead and see. This is the fluffed end, the steamed end, and let's see if this works any better. Yeah, it's pulling it right out. You can see how it's got its crimp back. It's grippy. I'm not fighting it. I'm not struggling to keep it from slipping apart. It's just drafting like a dream. And as I said, different ends of the same piece. So that is my little trick. The idea is to be able to get the crimp back into it. So with a processed fiber that's come straight out of the mill, commercially processed, that's been combed, roving, kind of the same thing, it'll work. You just try it and see. But for a processed top straight out of the mill, steam it, put the crimp back, and boy, does it make it a lot more pleasant to spin. Look at that, just practically spinning itself. Thank you for watching, and I'll have more videos out in the future. Thank you again, and y'all have a nice day.